Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 4. This week we've got a bunch of stuff going on, but of course, I would probably be remiss if I did not talk about probably the biggest news story of the year so far, and possibly, I don't know, the last decade. Of course, this week, President Trump has been indicted on 34 charges of essentially business fraud, changing documents. And what makes this a little bit unusual is the fact that it's not just falsifying documents, which is actually a misdemeanor. It is falsifying documents in order to do a different crime. So that escalates it up to a Class E felony, which granted are the lowest levels of felonies, but at the same time, it is a felony. If convicted, Trump would actually lose his power to vote. This is going to cause a whirlwind in the news cycle. And so you should really think about keeping up, because a lot of the things that we talk about in this class, from social media to fake news from last week to the filter bubbles of this week, are really truly going to come into play in a big way this week. Okay. So our content this week actually looks at kind of 3 different issues. We are looking at copyright, we're looking at privacy, and we're looking at filter bubbles. So copyright, it takes a look specifically at the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which was Congress's attempt to move copyright regulations and restrictions into the 20th century. Of course, we're now 23 years into the 21st century, and they are nowhere near kind of catching up. The DMCA is still very, very restrictive on what we can do, and so it just does not keep up well as technology changes. Okay, so you're going to read an article on that, and you've got a discussion topic on copyright and whether you think it's a good thing, right? So basically, does it protect people's property, specifically intellectual property, or does it restrict expression by not letting people do things, right? Privacy, they're actually talking about the ECPA, the Electronic Consumer Protection Act, which really it does not do as much as, say, Europe's GDPR, General Data Privacy Regulation, GDPR, privacy regulations. So any of you who have served or have been in Europe for any amount of time know that their privacy regulations are much, much more stringent than we have here in the US. So it is one of those things, though, right? It's to think about and talk about. There was a little bit of confusion earlier. We originally had 3 discussion topics this week. The second topic had to do with phone companies tracking you, right? And using the data from your phones and then selling it to other companies. That article was in the Washington Post, and it ended up behind a paywall. So it's very difficult unless you actually have a subscription to the Washington Post to actually get to it. So when kind of that was raised, that they took the article out, but they didn't take the discussion topic out. So when somebody brought that to my attention, I went back to the program chair and he said, just take it out. So I did find another article, but he said, nope, don't worry about it. So happy birthday. Spend a little bit more time on your project too, which I'll be posting a video about. The last kind of topic, you've got an article and you've got a couple of videos to watch around filter bubbles. And filter bubbles really are one of those things that happen because so much of our social media is run by computers, right? It's not AI yet, but still algorithms, right? It's what are the things that we spend our time on, and then it feeds us more of those, right? It's because the way that most social media platforms make their money is through advertising, right? Your data, your usage is one of the things that they profit from, right? I have a friend who's in the advertising business in Manhattan, and one of his favorite things to say is, if you aren't paying for it, you are the product. And in social media, that's absolutely true. So it's filter bubbles tend to keep feeding us the same things that we've been seeing. So, if you're on TikTok or if you're on Facebook, the more you interact with somebody else's content and material, the more of it you're going to see. Okay. So when that comes into play is when you constantly listen to, say, one side or the other of a political debate. The more you listen to progressive or to conservative views and don't balance that out and purposefully balance that out, the more likely you are to keep seeing, right? It's that type of news or that particular viewpoint, so to say. So this week, again, the copyright discussion and the filter bubble discussion. And we also have Project 2 coming up, a PowerPoint project, which I'm about to go do and make another video of, and I'll have a long list. So make sure you read that announcement or watch that video and read the announcement, either or. And I hope you have a good week. And as always, email is the best way to reach me. If it's kind of short timing, then go ahead and send me a text. My number's down in my profile. All right. Have a good week, everyone, and see you later.